Hey folks, Real with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin. This is part 7 of my top 40 least favorite wrestlers. And before I do the top 6, well, or a few of them, I'm going to give an honorable mention to the Honky Tonk Man because I had not mentioned the Honky Tonk Man on this list before. Reason I'm giving an honorable mention and kind of slotting him in here is I just never care for the guy. The guy has a shit character, a shit game. And by the way, if you guys are fans of his, you guys like him, great. I didn't. I thought his gimmick was shit. I thought it got him over. I mean, I give him that much. He was a hated heel, but he was not a very good worker. Or at least he wasn't allowed to be in WWE. Wasn't very good in WCW. I mean, I'm sure he's better in Memphis and other companies like that, but just, I never got the appeal of Honky Tonk Man. I just never did, and one of my favorite moments was watching him get a guitar smashed over his head at the 2001 Royal Rumble. I just never understood the appeal of Honky Tonk Man. I never cared for him. So that's just a brief rant. Now we go on to I mean, there's more stuff to mention, but just, I never cared for Honky Tonk Man. One of the, and you call him the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time, and he is. One of the worst Intercontinental Champions of all time. That's just my opinion. I mean, yeah, people popped when Warrior beat him in like 30 seconds, because that's all Warrior could do, was beat people in, about a minute or so. But just, to me, I can't remember much of anything memorable about his reign. He never had, he did not establish the title all that well. I mean, and part of that could be uncreative. I'm not even saying the Honky Tonk's at fault for that. But longest reigning champion, longest reigning IC champion, probably one of the worst IC champions. Moving on from that, though, that's an honorable mention because to me, he's almost irrelevant. He only deserves like about 2 minutes of a rant. Number 6, Sandman. Pretty much like I said about New Jack, why the fuck was Sandman over in ECW? Oh, right, because it's ECW. Because it was alternative and edgy. If you guys are ECW fans, great. But I always thought ECW was overrated. I mean, some good athletes in there, and some good workers, but just, I never understood the appeal. Sandman, just, for a guy that had no wrestling talent, none at all. I'm not saying he didn't have any regard for his opponents, but just a lot of the stuff he would do. Like at one point, he threw a garbage can and hit Terry Funk in the head. I mean, it was gimmicked anyway, but he tried to hurl a ladder, off the ring ropes to somebody and ended up it going into the crowd because he doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, seriously, for as long as that guy was in the ring, I mean, I think it was like from 95 in ECW to 95 to 2, I mean, he had that brief run in WCW, which was horrifying because Sandman can't wrestle at all. And it's pretty obvious on that stage, oh yeah, we'll put him in the ring, and we'll put him in the hardcore division, but that's all he's going to do. It's just watching him, he was an embarrassment. And WWE had him for a little bit, and I just don't understand why in the world WWE thought it was a good idea, besides having him come in and job to people, because he was noticeably smaller. I think he had cut down on the drinking at that point, because he was a lot trimmer when he he wasn't in great shape, but he had lost quite a bit of weight from his, ECW days and from his NWA, TNA days. And so when he was in WWE, especially for that run from 06 to 07, he had lost a good amount of weight. But just any time I watch Sandman in the ring, I'm just like, why are people cheering for this guy? Oh, he's the everyman. He's the guy. He looks like everybody else, but he's just a little bit tougher and a little more insane. I'm like, yeah, but that's what I didn't like about ECW. It's like, it's one thing to be alternative. It's another thing entirely to be just be an everyman and just like, okay, if you don't stand out by being anything good, because I'm sorry, bash the beer can into your head, great, okay, yeah, that'll be great, that'll only cut up your forehead like crazy. Bash the beer can into your forehead, swing a kendo stick at people carelessly, hit people with garbage cans, hit people with chairs. Somebody else wants to weigh in on what I say about Sandman. What do you say? My producer isn't very happy. Yes, my cats are my producer. Kidding, it's of course. But anyway, Sandman, that was just to break up a little bit of the ranting. But just, Sandman was garbage. Absolute fucking garbage in the ring. I mean, nothing that he ever goddamn did was any good. I mean, seriously, I can't name... I think he hit, what was it, a white Russian leg sweep, Russian leg sweep, and he maybe could execute a suplex, but he couldn't do a leg drop for shit. Anytime he did a leg drop coming off the ropes, coming off the top rope or anything, I'm afraid he's going to snap his leg, because he doesn't get it even. He leads with one. He, has the leg that he's going to hit people with, and then, hits way too late. It's just the way he does moves, he just didn't know what he was doing. And somehow the guy's had a lengthy career in the ring. I mean, which I just don't understand. Maybe he had something that every fan enjoyed, and that's fine. I just never understood it. And Sandman to me was garbage. Is he a garbage human being? I'm not going to say that he's a garbage human being. He's a garbage wrestler. And he's certainly somebody that I would not care for. And I would not care to pay money to see. I'm glad I never saw the guy live. Just, ECW fans liked him, but then again, they were from Philadelphia. They liked the Phillies. And kidding, nothing against people from Philadelphia. You guys are all cool. I'm sorry. There are a few friends of mine from Philly that watch this, and it's just the people that went into the ECW arena and, we're going to treat this like it's the best company ever. I'm not going to say it's the talents didn't work hard. But just no one can tell me that Sandman deserved all the accolades that he got. I mean, because outside of ECW, what good was the character? He was good for that environment. There was no way he was going to get over a ton anywhere else. And he would have gotten over maybe a little more in WCW, but he got hurt. And then WWE, but then the whole Benoit situation happened, and he was released soon after. I don't know. Just Sandman was just garbage to me. So now, number 5, Ahmed Johnson. Ahmed Johnson is one of the biggest embarrassments in wrestling. Just flat out. Just for a guy that had that look, he had the look, the physique, the intensity about it. He could have been a big star, and Vince, of course, I can see why Vince wanted to push the guy. The problem is that the guy got injured. Now, I mean, I'm not talking about the kidney stuff. That could have been genetics, and I hope he got that stuff worked out. But he didn't know how to wrestle, clearly. He was a good power guy, but that was it. The fact he was an IC champion at one point, it made sense at the time because he was really over, but he never deserved the accolades of that title, because that title was still the workman's title, and the guy couldn't work. I mean, he could dive to the outside. For a big guy, that was pretty impressive, but of course he would either injure himself or injure others. He was careless in the ring. He was garbage. I mean, and then he would always get injured. And it wasn't just the kidney stuff. I mean, and I'm not even factoring that in. Again, genetics. But he would get injured, and then he would have to take time off, and then they try pushing him again. Then he'd get injured again. And then it just didn't work for him. I mean, he debuted sometime in 95. Then he had the kidney thing. He was out for a month. And then they pushed him in 96, won the IC title. And then I think he had kidney issues again in 96 or something. He had some sort of, medical issue where he had that title taken off of him when it was supposed to be him versus Shawn Michaels as SummerSlam champion versus champion. And dear God, if they would have had Ahmed Johnson become the WWF champion, that would have been ridiculous. I mean, you could talk, there should have been more black athletes. There should have been world champion. Ahmed Johnson would have been a poor representation of that. Absolutely poor. And then, of course, he never reached those heights again after he came back in late 96. He was injured again sometime in the summer of 97. Came back a little bit later. His feud with The Nation was decent. It was a way to get Ahmed over. It didn't work. And then by 98, he was pretty much gone, because he'd gained so much weight. And then WCW, remember his WCW run? His Big T, a.k.a. he was about the size of Texas. Guy was a fat fuck at that point. I mean, good God. Look, weight issues come up all the time with people. I fluctuate in weight myself. We all have that. Could be genetics, could be whatever, could be bad diet, could be a lot of things. But the fact that he got that big, I mean, it's like his first night in WCW, I think, was sold out 2000. And he went to hit the Pearl River Plunge, the double underhook into the driver. Like he hit on Goldust to win the IC title from him, as example, if you remember that. He went to hit that and he stumbled. I mean, it's just... It's like, what in the world? And why is this guy here? And then he was part of Harlem Heat 2000, which was shit. Ahmed Johnson was shit. The absolute fucking shit. And I mean, I get actively angry thinking about how much WWE tried to push this guy, and he just didn't seem to care. He wasn't in good shape. He got in worse shape as it went on. Just for all that look and all that ability, Ahmed Johnson should have been a lot bigger, bigger star, not bigger, physique-wise. Should have been a much bigger star. And he should have been, a multi-time IC whatever champion if he'd actually cared to not injure himself or injure others. But no, Ahmed Johnson just pretty much shit on everything in wrestling. And he did. Now, does that mean that it was all on him? No, I'm sure maybe WWE's schedule might have had something to do with it. He might have not been cut out for it. But Ahmed Johnson just couldn't do anything in the ring. What the fuck could the guy do? He couldn't do a goddamn thing. He was fucking horrible. Anyway, now to number 4, Mongo, Steve Mongo McMichael. I don't know what was worse, Mongo on commentary or Mongo in the ring. And this is where I'm going to get a little angrier than I have. Mongo was one of the worst commentators ever. I still say he was better than Josh Matthews because Mongo at least seemed to appreciate the athleticism of wrestling. Matthews doesn't. I mean, if he does, he's not doing a very good job showing it. But Mongo was a terrible commentator. I felt bad for that dog, Pepe. I think that was the dog's name, a little Chihuahua or whatever, and he would dress it up, and the dog looked like it wanted to bite him. I almost wish it had been a Doberman so he could have taken a chunk out of his leg, and then maybe that would have made Mongo sound a little better on commentary. But no, he was horrible. I felt bad for Bobby Heenan. I'm not sure why Mongo was brought on there. I mean, maybe WCW felt that he would be good for it. He was not. He was terrible on commentary. He was off commentary pretty quickly. I think I want to say early 96. I mean, it might have been by mid 96, but because he was in the ring, and I mean, then they had him and Kevin Green team up, and poor Kevin Green, because Kevin Green was an example of a football. He was an active football player. Mongo was retired, but Kevin Green was an active football player who actually tried to get better in the ring. Then they put Mongo in the ring, and Mongo, I can't name one decent match that Mongo had where he was the one that had to be, pulling his own weight, his increasing amount of weight. Granted, at Bound for Glory 2008, he had an increasing amount of weight because he looked like he was the size of the entire Chicago Bears defensive line from the Super Bowl shuffle era. Well, 1985 when they won the Super Bowl, the 1985 Bears. I think it was the 85 Bears, 85 or 86. I know Mongo was on the Super Bowl winning team because he always talked about a Super Bowl ring. I'm amazed he didn't try to eat that too, by the way. Make a lot of weight. I only get angry to this point and start throwing out these kind of insults when it's wrestlers that I just can't fucking stand. I mean, it's like, I try not to be this way, but part of the reason I wanted to do this is like the ultimate rant list, where I'm just going to rant a ton, and if you guys like it, great. If you don't, make your own videos and talk about why you think these wrestlers are good. But watching Mongo in the ring, the fact that he was a U.S. champion in 1997, I believe. I think it was sometime in 1997. The fact that he was a U.S. champion when the championship was still hot and WCW was still hot is further proof of, I'm wondering, with those kind of decisions, I wonder how WCW stayed in business as long as it did. Because Mongo pissed on the legacy of the belt. Now, Jim Duggan pissed on it more, but Duggan had a better in-ring career by that point. They put it on Mongo, and he was a horrible U.S. champion. He was terrible in the ring. He had a match with Reggie White, I want to say, at one of the Great American Bashes. I want to say it was Great American Bash, or it was Bash at the Beach. I think it was one of the Great American Bash. It might have been 97. And I'm watching this, and I'm like, why is this happening? It was 97, 98. I think it was 97. Why in the world was this happening? Because, I mean, Reggie White, football player, wasn't active in the ring. Needed somebody to help guide him, and that match went on longer than some of the matches on the card, and it was terrible. It was absolutely fucking terrible. And I love Reggie White. Reggie White's one of the greatest players of all time, at least that I'd seen actively play in my lifetime. But Mongo, I mean, and Mongo was out of the business pretty soon after that anyway. I mean, I think he had a feud with Goldberg. He wrestled a little bit after that in '98, and then I think he was gone soon after. Which I didn't miss Mongo one bit when he left WCW. I remember watching the first episode of Nitro, and I'm thinking, at 14 years old, I'm like, who is this fucking clown that Bobby Heenan is having to endure insult him? Who the fuck is Mongo? Mongo was a nothing. A nobody. In wrestling. I mean, in football, great, okay? Cool, he won a Super Bowl ring. I mean, congratulations. It's gotta be a tough achievement. It was a team effort. But the guy never deserved to be on commentary. He never deserved to be in the ring. Somebody saw some brilliance in him, and okay, great. But just, Mongo was absolute dog shit. You know, pardon the pun. You know, Steve Mongo McMichael, he had a little dog with him. I mean, and then there was Deborah. I mean, Deborah, I'm not going to put Deborah on this list because even though she technically competed in wrestling, or in a couple matches, I'm not going to count that. Deborah will be on a separate list. Because Deborah wasn't a wrestler. Deborah was shit and a character I hated, but she wasn't a wrestler. Mongo, however, was a bad wrestler, bad commentator. Somehow, I think he is actually a worse wrestler than he was a commentator. Because at least with commentary, you sort of could try to tune him out because you had Bischoff and you had Bobby Heenan there. Bobby Heenan, one of the greatest of all time, and Bischoff wasn't a bad commentator. Especially as a face. As a heel, I mean, he got overbearing, but heel commentary is a tricky thing to do. But Mongo just being on there is just bad, and I felt so bad for Bobby Heenan. But anyway, that's where I'm going to leave that off. So I got 3 more to do, and the 3 may turn into 2 other shows. I don't know, because I might do a separate show on all of them. Who knows? Anyway, do you agree? Do you disagree so far with what I've said? Like, share, comment, subscribe. My Twitter link is in the description. It's been Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin, and I will see you soon.